Welcome to another episode of From Backroads to Breakthroughs. I'm your host, Dominic Santiago, and with me today I have Jose Colon Cruz.
Hey,
Jose,
what's going on, Zom? It's been a minute, man.
it
How you
has,
doing?
I'm doing phenomenal. I'm happy that you were able to make it out, or we were able to make it out to you, to do a little interview and catch up and let the people know what it is that you do and all the
Yeah,
stuff that you bring to the table.
it's amazing to be able to reconnect with you, especially in an environment like this, to be able to
Absolutely.
just keep it real one on one.
Exactly, and I think the environment. We didn't keep it. We ignored all those studio lights and all that stuff, so we kept it nice and homey. That way, everybody at home is able to feel that warmth and that comfort, just like we are right now. But we earlier we did a whole video shoot for you before, and you walked us through like a Hyrox training, um, with some warm ups and everything in there. But that begs the first question that I have. What made you get into coaching and training?
Yeah, that started a few years ago. I had a lot of people ask me questions about running, as you know, but not everybody knows that I have a very extensive background with running. I did it in high school and in the collegiate level, and so, to some degree post college as well,
Right.
having done some marathons, 5Ks, and stuff.
Nice.
And being a relatively accomplished runner, I had a lot of people that naturally asked me, how do you run? How do you do this? How do you improve endurance? And I found myself helping a lot of people improve in that component of their fitness, their cardiovascular health, their endurance.
Right.
And it made me realize I love that stuff. I love helping out others to be able to elevate themselves. And I had a growing love for fitness a couple years ago, pandemic time, where
course.
one of the best things you can do for yourself is work out. And pairing the two together is when I came to the realization I should become a fitness professional, I should become a coach, personal trainer, and pair my love of helping others with my love for fitness. So around 2024, yeah, summer 2024, that's when I got my personal training certification.
Nice.
And then this past year, I became a certified group fitness instructor. Now I coach with OrangeTheory Fitness. I take my own athletic career into my own hands with the Hyrox space, being a Hyrox athlete as well, and a Hyrox performance coach on the side.
Not bad. Now I know recently you released your own fitness guide, I believe, that pertains to Hyrox, if I'm not mistaken. Right? What was that process like of creating that and making it accessible to a wide range of athletes at different skill levels? Can you walk me through that?
Definitely. So, for to give some context, what is Hyrox? Hyrox is a standardized fitness race that consists of 8 1 kilometer runs with 8 functional fitness stations. So it's a 1 kilometer run, fitness station, 1 kilometer run. You do that a total of 8 times in it, but it's standardized in the sense where if you and I wanted to do a Hyrox in the United States, and then the next one we want to do one in Malaysia or Germany, it's the same Hyrox race, just in a different venue. The only thing that may be different is the lap count because venue constraints.
Right.
Right. But being a Hyrox athlete, having done it myself, I've realized one of the biggest struggles that people don't know how to train for or what kind of workouts will improve your ability to be able to perform a Hyrox at a successful level.
Right.
Or if you have a background in Hyrox, what are some levels that will continue progressing you towards that next level? That's when I took 10 of the most successful workouts that I thought really changed my performance. I was very fortunate. You actually were the one person to come out to see me at my first
Yes.
Hyrox, Washington, D.C., last year, believe it or not, which is
I
crazy.
believe it was about a year ago. Yeah.
Yeah, about a year ago now. And that was a great learning lesson, a great stepping stone for me. But between then and Boston, which was in the fall of 2025, I think it was October was when I competed.
It's a little cold.
A little cold. But I ended up surpassing my goal of underneath an hour and 10 minutes. I ran an hour and 6 minutes. So it was over a 6 minute drop that I made in my time. And that put me in the top 40 overall in Boston. So, and to give a little bit of context, in Washington, D.C.,
Right.
I was in the mid 200s in terms of my place. So jumped up about 200 places.
Right.
What caused that? And had me reflecting, oh, you know what? I think these workouts contributed the most. And that's when I took it in my own hands, said, you know what, let me provide value to people that are wondering how can they drop their times, how can they train for Hyrox, what kind of workouts will get you there. So I designed this ebook to provide 10 workouts that will get you Hyrox ready, and it's a mix between Hyrox strength workouts, so these are strength oriented to hit all the muscles that get you ready for the race. Then there's some engine builders is what I call them. That's really to allow you to build that base, that endurance that's needed to be able to successfully accomplish Hyrox. And the final category, which we actually recorded today, is a Hyrox interference workout. Interference means there's two conflicting energy systems, right? So you're going for endurance, but you're also going for short bursts of effort and work, like with the stations. And what also that interference comes into play is coming off the station, your legs are tired for that run.
Right.
They're compromised. So those types of training are really important in the Hyrox space. Nice. But I put together 10 workouts, a few from each of those categories together to be able to help others elevate their training with Hyrox.
Nice. And I know that you have a very extensive career in athletics. I mean, you mentioned that a bit already now. But, nobody just wakes up one day and says, you know what, I'm doing a Hyrox. Were there a lot of challenges that you faced, like over the years, that ultimately led you to participating in Hyrox? So between like your athletic career, your semi-professional, professional athletic career, I would say, like, collegiate down to now, I would say. What were some of the challenges that you faced, and what are some of your greatest accomplishments?
Wow, that's many years of reflection. So hopefully I can do both my own career and just the journey some justice with my words. But I would say one of the biggest struggles, and this relates to a lot of athletes, is that at some point in time you do feel like you've hit a plateau. Yeah. And that was probably one of the biggest challenges in college. My junior year, I genuinely wanted to leave track and field because I didn't feel I was getting any better. I was hitting that plateau. And our mutual friend, Jared, actually, he helped elevate me. And he's like, come on, man, look, this season might not be your season, but it doesn't mean that you won't ever not get better. And really helped me change my mindset about that. And that's probably one of the biggest challenges and things that I would recommend to any athlete is change that mindset, change that narrative. If you can do that, not, I've hit a wall and I can't get over the wall. Right. It's, I hit a wall, how can I surpass it? What can I do differently? Because it might be you regressing, but it's in order for you to progress. And I think that's one of the challenges that I've learned is that it's not always a, line going up, right? It's this zigzag, right? That you might take 2 steps down, but then 3 steps forward, and then another couple back because you're sick, but then you train hard consistently for a month and then you're back up. So it's not as much of a linear graph as people think it is, right?
Now, would you also say that is also, you could kind of give that same advice to people who have that New Year's resolution year to year? A lot of people go to the gym beginning of the year and they want that linear progression. They might lose a lot of weight in the beginning and then they kind of plateau, like you mentioned before. But I mean, that would be good advice to give to them. I feel like a lot of people that would be great for them to hear.
For certain, yeah. And the mindset is a really big element of working out. People think directly to how you lift the weights, how heavy you lift the weights. That's what performance is, right? But a big element of performance is mindset. Right. Is that you being able, be prepared for training that is not going to be consistent. Like, have a game plan, but be prepared for that plan to be thrown off the rails. Right. And I like emphasizing that to people because you and I, we can have a beautiful 1 month plan written out. Family relative passes away. Yeah. Throws a snag in there, right? That throws a wrench, right? Or maybe you encountered an injury. Whatever the obstacle may be, you might have the perfect plan, but life doesn't always allow that. Yeah. And be prepared to be knocked off that path. Because if you can mentally prepare and say, you know what, I know I've been knocked off the road for 2 to 3 days, but it doesn't mean that I'm defeated. I wish I could quote the exact article, but there was a study done, and basically the outcome of the study was, will you lose a lot of your gains from just taking 1 week off, right? Because a lot of people think, oh, I took 1 week off, I can't make progress anymore, right? The study had shown that there was no variance from the start to the end of that 1 week from where they were at with their lean tissue mass, with their progress, with the weights that they could lift. So all that to say is that the study basically showed it's okay to take a week off.
Right.
Nothing is going to happen to your progress. So it's really that mentality that people need to overcome. Is that if you can mentally tell yourself, yeah, I fell off, but it's okay. It's all part of the journey. You're going to be in good hands.
Right. And I think that kind of leads me to just another point is that living a healthy lifestyle is not just about going to the gym consistently. Because I know people who go to the gym regularly and their diet is awful or they have a very irregular like habits. Maybe they don't eat well and they go to the gym maybe twice a week, maybe twice every month, and it's not consistent. There has to be some kind of consistency. Would you have any advice on how people could better either find better resources for food, and then what tips would you have for people to help build like good habits when it comes to just overall fitness, when it comes to food and gym and just a lifestyle in general?
Yeah, one of the biggest things that I think a lot of people need to start with nutrition is that we see labels on boxes, right?
Mm,
But nobody knows how to read them because the reality is if you see like 200 calories on a box, right?
right.
They're saying that's 200 per serving.
Mm,
How many servings are in that box, right?
right.
And that's one of the first things that comes with nutrition is understand how to read a label. If you can do that, I think a lot of people will be making so much more progress in their nutrition journeys.
Mm,
But personally, I'm just a big advocate of fuel to perform, right? So, me being an endurance athlete or
right.
running for long bouts, right?
Mm,
I naturally need more of those carbohydrates, right?
right.
So, it's okay for me to fuel up a lot more on those carbs. Now, versus if your journey is I want to lose that fat and I want to build that muscle, right? You're probably looking on dialing in a lot more on that protein element,
Yeah.
right? So I think there's a couple things. One of the biggest thing is that what are your goals?
Mm,
In order to be able to tailor your nutrition and your habits, like ask yourself like what are your goals and also ask like what is the motivation? Why are you reaching for that? Again,
right.
that mentality is a big part of how you eat, how you perform, right? So if you can fuel to perform, that's a great baseline. And if you know you're stationary all day,
Right.
right, you might not need as much fuel because your performance is sitting down all day, right?
It's true.
So that's one of the biggest things that you need to ask yourself is how active am I and what are my goals? What are you doing right now to make those goals a reality? And if that's working out 4 to 5 days a week, that's how you start tailoring that nutrition. But ultimately, I would say if you're looking for just some baseline guidance, like eat whole foods, right? And a lot of people argue, well, that's expensive. Chicken, ground beef, like all these things, right?
Yep.
They can be a little bit pricier. There are workarounds. I don't know if people have a produce junction near them, right? You could get a 5-pound bag of spinach for $3, right?
Or like
Not
Popeye
everybody
Sailor Man.
has that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Get those Popeye
Honestly.
goods, right? But there's still plenty of food places out there that allow it to be affordable to get things, or even Costco, BJ's, Sam's Club, buying in bulk. Like I can't tell you how big of a difference that
Yeah.
membership is, and they offer plenty of discounts out there for like say teachers, government employees, military, whatever it may be. So like leverage that status that you have to be able to get like more cost effective foods.
Right.
But yeah, I highly recommend like go to those places that have more affordable produce. It might be a farmer's market, wherever it may
Right.
be, right? So if you can find a place where Whole Foods are not as expensive, right? Take advantage of that and start with some simple your carbs, your meat, your veggies. Like, does your plate have those three things?
Right.
And if it does, you're off to a great start.
Not bad. Yeah, and then consistency, you know. Don't
Absolutely.
do it for just one day. Keep it up, and you'll feel better the long term. It's a long term solution. Nothing happens overnight. And I think a lot of people forget that. So
Yeah, I think a lot of people one things. Have you read the book Atomic Habits?
no, I'm not.
Highly recommend the book, right? And it's basically just explain about the power of habits and
Mm,
what they can do to us. And in the book, it talks about there are outcome based habits and then there are identity based habits.
mm,
And a lot of us, we do outcome based habits, right?
right.
Is that I want to stop smoking for 10 days so that way I can quit smoking, right? Versus an identity based habit is I want to become a person who does not smoke. I want to be a non smoker, right? When it's more of your identity, that's when your habits match that. Like you tend to build your habits to match that identity.
Right.
But that comes from consistent output versus an outcome, the issue with it, right? If your goal is, I want to run a 5K, right?
Right.
You run the 5K, what happens? Right?
Gas.
You did it,
You
right?
did it.
Now, versus if you said, I want to be a runner, right?
Yeah.
Now that 5K will still happen, right? But you've built this system and these habits to continue to be a runner. So it doesn't just stop at that 5K.
Right.
So,
There's
yeah,
like, you can almost look at it as checkpoints, more or less. You have an overall goal, and you say, all right, I want to be a runner. Using that same example, you have, all right, so to be a runner, it means to actively be running. So you could do 5Ks, you could do mud runs, you could do different color runs, different types of runs throughout, and you're still a runner. You could do run clubs, walk clubs, whatever it might be. And it's different stuff that engages that overall art. And that could be utilized in business too.
yeah,
You want to say, hey, I want to be a seamstress or I want to be a music producer. And then what do? You create music, you make beats, you make samples, you collaborate with artists, you have these different checkpoints going forward. And I think fitness is a great discipline. And it can translate into so many different aspects of life, which is why I think you see like a lot of these pro athletes have these strict regimens because they are already disciplined in that. I think it's a great lifestyle. And I think that's a wonderful read. And I think the audience should definitely, try to pick up that book.
check it out. Check it out. I highly recommend that. That's definitely one of those books that have molded me into the person I am today.
Not bad. Now, circling back to books, do you think you'll make another one? Another workout plan?
Yeah, what I really want to build, and it's been in the works behind the scenes. It takes a little bit of time with these things, just limited free time, of course,
Yes.
building out piece by piece and making sure that provide the most value possible.
Mm-hmm.
But behind the scenes, working on a Hyrox beginner ebook where
Okay.
it explains what Hyrox is, what kind of training should be done, recommendations on like what to do for your race day. Like, what should you be bringing with you? What can you expect on the day of your race? Where can you find your race map for the course? Because the course map is different in each venue.
Right.
So all those kind of things. And in there, I want to include a beginner, like true beginner, 12-week program where it is really scaled towards the lowest level and getting you set from I want to do a Hyrox to I am ready to do my first Hyrox.
Nice.
So I'm working on that, and my goal is to have that done sometime within the next like 2 months. And yeah, that product will be it's in the works though.
There we go. That's something for everybody to look forward to. But also, they should also try to pick up your last ebook as well, if they're interested. And we will definitely link that with the video as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, spread the love, spread the word.
Yeah.
Now, what do you have like you are a active trainer or coach, I believe, today.
Yeah.
So do you have any goals going with that going forward? Like, do you have anything? I know we talked about goal setting and stuff like that, but what are your goals personally or career-wise with coaching and training?
Ultimately, my number one goal is to help elevate others to become the best version of themselves, right? And I want to do that through fitness. It doesn't matter if it's just me just answering questions or being your coach one-on-one,
Right.
whether in person or virtually. Whatever capacity that may be, my number one focus is just providing value to others so that way they can become a top tier athlete, have confidence in themselves, being able to not only do the work but understand like what it even is the work, what is the intention of the workout,
Right.
be able to understand at a deeper level what they're truly doing and how it impacts their performance. So ultimately, my number one goal is to be able to impact as many lives as possible.
Nice.
A little bit more on the vague side, but that's just my mission in life, is just to be able to help out others.
Not bad. And I mean, you're doing great because you work for, is it Orange Theory? I believe,
Yeah,
right?
coaching for OrangeTheory, amazing
bad.
organization, man. Every day, like it's interesting. So for the audience, I do have a full-time job where I work predominantly remotely, more or less an office job, right? And so, taking off that hat and going on to the coaching hat, it's completely different energy because you're upbeat. I'm doing exactly that, where I'm changing lives through fitness.
Right.
I'm making a difference in people's days. It's a lot more high energy, fun, upbeat. It's my favorite part of my day, and they're an incredible organization that invests in the coaches to continue to learn, grow, become better coaches, so we can assist as many people as possible.
Now, is Orange Theory just in your area, or do they have locations in a lot of other places?
Yeah, it's national, man.
It is
They
national.
have, and maybe even actually no, it's international because
Oh.
they do have them in other countries as well. I'm not sure how many countries they are in, but I know we have international treadmill standards and the national treadmill standards for United States. Kilometers
Yeah.
versus miles per hour. And yeah, there are a ton of places.
They're
When I was
huge.
actually in California, there was one probably maybe 10 minutes away from me. There was a studio out there, which was just dumb luck.
I mean,
But
honestly.
yeah, they're everywhere though.
Nice. So anybody can experience this great, but they won't be able to experience you
You know,
unless they come out to.
come on out to PA sometime, and just like, call up each studio until you find where I'm at. Just say, hey, is Coach Cruz here? No, okay, now on to the next one.
Just one by one.
One by one.
Now, are you doing any coaching lessons privately?
Yeah, man. So I actually coach a rugby athlete right now who not about 2 months ago, he signed over for his first college,
wow.
for college, which is exciting. As a student
course.
athlete, that's always a huge deal. But I've been working with him one-on-one, on and off for a while now. On and off because when he's in his regular season,
Right, you
his
can't.
schedules vary a lot more since
Yeah.
he's still a high schooler. But yeah, absolutely do one-on-one training and primarily virtual, but with him and I, we've done in-person stuff. And
Not bad.
so if anybody ever did want to do the in-person route, it is feasible. It's just limited, obviously, to location, right?
Yeah.
That's why I prefer the virtual, because it doesn't matter where you're at. We can still have that open line of communication, still get you your workouts, and be able to work with each other that way.
How can they, if someone's watching and they want to do like a virtual trainer with you, how would they reach out to you to schedule something or get a quote or inquiry?
Yeah, reach out to me on any of my social media platforms at Conditioning with Cruz, or maybe we'll throw in the footnotes or something.
Yeah, we'll probably put it somewhere.
Yeah,
somewhere
yeah, it'll be somewhere. But reach out to me at Conditioning with Cruz. I'm pretty responsive on my socials on Instagram. I actually talk to a lot of different Hyrox athletes and beginners on Instagram threads. Actually, on there I'll post a bunch of different workout tips and some content on there to be able to help elevate your Hyrox journey. So just reach out to me on there. Say, hey, coach, I'm interested in training, or ask me any questions you have, and I'll be able to guide you and get you to where you need to be.
Nice. And I'll be sure to link all that stuff here, and it'll also be in the description of the video as well. Is there anything in particular that you want everybody to know? I feel like we went over so much.
Yeah, no, the biggest thing is just believe in yourself. You have the ability to do incredible things, whether it be a Hyrox or weight loss, whatever it may be. Just believe in yourself. You do have the ability to accomplish so much, right? And if you are interested in Hyrox, again, please reach out at any point in time. I love seeing others sign up for their first Hyrox or tell me that they're excited about it. OrangeTheory actually, coincidentally, when I signed or became a coach with them, they became an affiliate or a partner of Hyrox. So they have their own Hyrox training club now, which perfect timing as I came in. Yeah. So it's really cool. I get very excited and passionate about that kind of stuff. But yeah, number one thing is just believe in yourself, and if you do need a support system, you can reach out at any point in time.
Absolutely. So you heard it here first, everybody. Again, Jose, it was a pleasure. Always great catching up, and it's great to have you share everything that you're passionate about. You know, providing fitness and that journey for people that you yourself hold so dear, and you're expressing that to everybody and helping them on their own individual journeys. And I think that's a wonderful thing, and I'm happy to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me over here, man.
Absolutely. Well, I guess technically, thank you for having us over here.
Yeah.
So awesome. And you know, my name is Dominic, and that was another episode of From Backroads to Breakthroughs. Thank you. Good night.